This is a fully functional, wind-charged powered CRT style monitor that I made. This all started about 10 months ago when I posted a video called Designing the Worst Screen Possible, in which I tried to do exactly that, design the worst screen I possibly could. If you haven't seen that video, I'll play a short clip from it to give you some context before I go in depth about the machine behind me. If you didn't catch what was going on, I placed a dispenser behind each pixel that would shoot out a wind charge to activate it. But real CRTs generally only have 1 to 3 electron guns, not one for every pixel. They instead deflect the electron beam towards specific pixels using magnets. But since we obviously don't have magnets in Minecraft, how does my design work? Well, I've still managed to create a system that allows me to aim wind charges at precise angles, but to show you that, I'll switch to a 1 pixel tall slice of this build. Here, you can much more clearly see that I have 2 wind charge guns, with the left one firing at the right side of the screen and the right one firing at the left side of the screen. Looking from a top-down perspective, and turning on hitboxes, we can see that the wind charges are in fact being launched at different angles. So, how does that work? After the wind charges leave the front of the cannon, they get hit by a slime block, which gives them 1 block per tick of momentum in the direction they were hit, which doesn't affect the forward momentum. Since the push from the slime is always the same, 1 block per tick, we can control its final trajectory by controlling how fast it's going forwards. A faster moving wind charge will reach the screen sooner, and have less time to drift to the side. In my design, the screen is about 25 blocks away from the tip of the wind charge cannons, so a wind charge moving forward at 1 block per tick will take about 25 ticks to hit the screen, and drift about 25 blocks to the side, while a wind charge moving forward at half a block per tick will take 50 ticks to reach the screen, and drift 50 blocks to the side. This means that by controlling the forward speed, I can control which pixel I'm aiming for, so now I just need to figure out how to control the forward speed. I'm using a custom design I built based on a mix of existing designs to capture and fire wind charges created by a breeze. It shoots 1 wind charge every 16 ticks, or 0.8 seconds, each initially moving forward at 1 block per tick. That machine is actually pretty small, but most of the space in the wind charge gun is for adjusting the wind charge's speed, and here's how that works. There actually aren't many ways to reliably slow down or speed up wind charges after they've been fired, but I found that flowing water does work. The cool part is that flowing water does slow them down, while still water doesn't. That means I can toggle the effect by letting the water flow, or blocking it off, like with the trapdoor as seen here, so only a 1 by 1 by 1 source block of water remains, which doesn't affect the speed of wind charges. I needed to make these changes quickly, within the 0.8 second window between shots, so I used a bunch of short 2 block long water strips, since using fewer but longer strips wouldn't let the water flow fully. It takes about 14 of these flowing strips to completely reverse a wind charge moving at full speed, so I used 13 to slow them down as much as possible to get the sharpest angles, without them reversing and flying back into the generator, which would be bad. Then came the trial and error to figure out how many strips I needed to activate to target each pixel. With 13 strips of water, I can get 14 distinct angles. These didn't always perfectly line up with each pixel, but it was close enough to make the design possible. I saved all this data on a bunch of small hard drives, one for each water stream. Every time a wind charge passes through a water stream, the corresponding drive shifts by 1 bit, updating the stream for the next wind charge. Things were going great so far, but there was still one big issue. I had no way to actually display a specific image. I decided to make the screen 16 pixels wide and split it into 2 groups of 8, one for each wind charge gun. That meant each one only had to manage 8 pixels per frame. I built a small 8-bit hard drive at the end of each barrel. Every time a wind charge goes by, the drive shifts by 1 bit and decides whether or not to let the wind charge through based on the data stored on it. Here, you can see the hard drive is letting every other wind charge go through. I then added a couple of levers so I could easily visualize the data to be displayed ahead of time. That's everything happening in one layer, and stacking the layers vertically doesn't change anything since each layer is independent from each other. I decided to make the final screen 12 pixels tall so that with the 16 pixels across from before, it matches the 4:3 aspect ratio commonly used in CRTs. Finally, I connected all of the layers together with a bit of instant wire to one lever, and all that was left to do was flip the switch. This project started as a strange idea to try to simulate an old display technology using gusts of wind, but somehow it all came together. It's incredibly impractical, incredibly janky, and incredibly over-engineered, but it works, and that's what I love about it. Thank you for watching.